Good morning, friends. In a previous video, we have seen some of the important steps, that is from marine water prawn culture. So, in a previous video, we have seen the external characters, that is morphological characters of the marine water prawns, as well as how to identify the male and female organism, selection of the site and collection of the brooders, mating and spawning, as well as some of the points regarding the development. So in the last bit we were seeing about the development of the marine water prawn. So I will repeat it within a minute. Here the time taken for the copulation of various type of the prawns are different depending upon the species. In case of the species that is known as Pinus japonicus, it will take near about 3 to 4 minutes for completion of its copulation, and in case of the Pinus monodon, it may require a large time for completion of its copulation. And this prawns is having a very good type of fecundity, and that is near about 70,000 eggs, and that 70,000 eggs can be released within a 3 to 4 minutes simultaneously. The spermatophores will just discharge and fertilization is occurring, and the fertilized eggs will settle to the bottom, and the larvae hatches out after 8 to 9 hours of the fertilization, and that new larvae, that is known as the nauplius. So in yesterday's lecture we have seen up to this, and let us continue further. After the successful fertilization, the development of the eggs will start, hatching of the eggs will start, and that hatching will just take near about 8 to 9 up to the 10 hours. Of course, that hatching is possible up to the particular type of atmosphere, climatic conditions. So generally higher temperature is required for the completion of the hatching. So within 8 to 9 hours a new larvae will comes out. That new larvae is known as the nauplius larvae. It is a very microscopic. The larvae is a microscopic and very minute. Further, the metamorphosis is taking place. Here the metamorphosis is nothing but the formation of the one organism to the mature by attending a different morphological stages. That means first stage is not similar with the other stage. That is simply the metamorphosis. That is, see here, these are after hatching the nauplius larva is coming, and that nauplius larva, we can see here that nauplius larva will grow into the zoea larva. So the structure of nauplius larva is entirely different from the zoea larva. Morphologically, these are very contrast with each other. They are not similar. Therefore, that is simply the you may call as the metamorphosis. So that when you see this figure, that picture, it is the life cycle of marine water prawn. This is the sea water, and to the sea water it is adjacent estuarine water is there. So here the estuary is there. That means how you define the estuary? When a river meets to the sea at particular point, there is a mixing of the fresh water and marine water. A third type of water, third quality of water is produced, which is not neither fresh water or neither marine water. So it is a mixing of fresh water and marine water, and that type of structure is known as brackish water. That particular point is known as brackish water. So this development of this Pinus monodon as well as the Pinus indicus, that is marine water prawn, is require two types of water for development and completion of its life cycle. It will require two different water conditions. One is the marine water, another one is the brackish water. So these fertilization and development of the eggs will take place into the marine water. Up to the which larval form? It is up to the mysis form, mysis larva. See here in a picture, in a figure, that this female marine prawn is laying the eggs. Male and female mating will take place, the spawning will take place, and fertilization will take place. And after the successful fertilization, a newly hatched larvae come out. That is simply, you can see in the figure, that is, I am going to just enlarge the figure. So this is the Nauplius larva. Then Nauplius larva will grow into the next form. It is a metamorphic form, that is known as the zoea larva. Many of the times the metazoa is also reported. So this zoea larva will convert into the somewhat a larger larva, that is known as the mysis. It is a mysis larva. That means from the Nauplius larva will convert into the zoea larva, and this zoea will convert into the next somewhat larger life stage, that is known as the mysis larva. These mysis will just migrate towards the estuary for further completion of its life cycle, for the further development and growth. Here that mysis will grow and it forms the larva, that is known as the post larva. See here, from eggs it is completing the life cycle up to the mysis into the marine phase, marine water, and this mysis will enters into the brackish water as a post larva, and where the major development, growth and development is taking place into the estuarine water, and that post larva will convert into simply the juveniles, and further that juveniles will grow and mature as a mature organism into the return again into the marine water. So these juveniles, for its maturation and growth, particularly for reproduction, will goes to the marine water. That means for completion of its one single life cycle, it will require two types of water, estuarine water as well as the marine water. So this post larva will just goes next stage, that is known as juveniles, and further juvenile development is carried out. Development as well as the maturation will take place into the marine water. So it is a simple life cycle of these you may call as marine prawn. See here we are seeing the you may call as we are seeing about the farming, that is prawn farming, prawn culture in a particular condition, in a captive condition. Therefore, whenever culture is there, you should must be look over about the water quality. You must be careful regarding the water quality. When we say about the water quality required for the culture of the marine prawns, here the water quality for prawn is probably the most important parameter. Water should be the clear. You know very well, it requires the marine water for its development. Therefore, this prawn farming is generally ponds and prawn farming is generally near to the coastal line, near to the beach, and near to the brackish water resources. That is simply due to the tides. That marine water farm is receiving the water from the high tides, and that is utilized for the development. So water should be the clear and quite near to the composition of the seawater. Whenever it is at the time of lack of the seawater, when seawater is not reaching to the bottom, at that time you should have to such type of water which is having its chemical composition near to the marine water, near to the seawater. So the composition of it should be the near to the seawater. The amount of nitrogen compounds such as NH3 as well as the NO3 should be not exceed and regulated carefully, and therefore when we are recording, we are managing the water quality, it will become easy for development, and we can also stop the mortality. So water is one of the important parameter. Keep in mind that for the culture of marine water prawn into the prawn farm, you have to maintain the water quality, water chemistry as good as the sea water. You should have to prepare such type of the water which is having the similar, near about similar chemistry as good as the marine water. That means it should be like the it should be similar to the marine water. The temperature is also one of the important parameter which will directly related with the growth as well as the development as well as the reproduction also. Here I told that we have seen in earlier video that it requires a moderate temperature as well as the rainfall. A moderate rainfall and moderate temperature is there required. So here the low temperature just will retard the growth, and higher temperature simply just accelerate the growth, that is larval development. Temperature in the range between 25 to 29 degrees centigrade is quite suitable for development and growth of the prawn. So you should have to look over the temperature. It must be of near about 25 to 29 degree centigrade. And in the next bit, that is light intensity. And here the light intensity, generally in early lecture we also seen that here that prawn will prefer the keen, the prawn will prefer the calm and quiet water and the darkness. So the darkness is used for the generally for the breeding as well as the development, and therefore the prawns are living to the bottom areas. So that light intensity is also important, and it is generally darker, calm and quiet type of water is required. So the light intensity is somewhat less. Another one more important parameter of the water quality is the salinity. As we know that the marine water is having higher salinity than the fresh water. Therefore, when we are using doing the practices of the prawn farming, you should have to concentrate on the salinity also. And generally 28 to 30% of the salinity is required for this culture, that is prawn culture. And near about the 5 to 30 ppt of the 5 to 13 parts per million ppt is required for the first crop, and it may be reached up to the 23 ppt at the second crop. So depending upon the salinity, there is a development and growth of the prawns, particularly during the larval condition. So by trial and error method, you can just identify what particular level of the salinity is required in your site. Besides that, the salinity, the pH is the one of the important parameter for the larval development. It has been found that the range between near about 8 to 8.2 pH is found suitable for the development and growth of the prawns. That means larval development and growth of the prawn is quite suitable, found near about the 8 to 8.2 or up to the 8.4 pH is required. I told that here we are seeing about the culture, practices. Therefore, we have also seen that the location of that ponds that are nearby the creek, that are nearby the estuaries. So from that tides, we can high tide as well as low tide. Particularly by the high tides, we can get the free cost water to the, that is reaching flowing to the our ponds. So it must also have certain depth, and near about this depth of the water requires generally 40 to 75 centimeter of depth is generally required. So optimum depth of water for larval development is near about 40 to 47 75 degree 75 centimeter. Besides the depth of the water, pH and salinity, another one important characteristic of water, physicochemical property of water, is the dissolved oxygen. So dissolved oxygen is keeping important role into the fish culture as well as the prawn culture also. Whenever there is a certain desired type of the dissolved oxygen is there, there will be the proper growth and maintenance. Not only proper growth and maintenance, the maturity also. So depending upon the water, the animal will goes through the a particular metabolism. So the increase in body weight, the growth, the maturation, that depends upon the temperature as well as the oxygen level also. So the optimum oxygen generally required near about 5 to 9 ppm oxygen is required, and at the same time, no doubt the carbon dioxide is also present in the water in a dissolved form. So that should be the negligible or very less amount. So the dissolved oxygen should be the proper, and when there is a proper oxygen, dissolved oxygen is there, at that time there will be the proper development of the fishes. The next bit, that is of the more important bit, that is known as the larval food supply. We are not here for any type of culture. You should not depend only on the natural food material, as well as not only the artificial food material. You should provide the fishes with both the type of food material, natural as well as the artificial type of the food material. In case of this prawn culture, regarding the larval food supply, the feeding of larvae changes gradually as it is metamorphosis to an advanced stage. So depending upon the metamorphic stages, that is initially the nauplius is there, then later on zoea is there, later on metazoa might be there, and later on it is having the mysis, then the post larva, then the juveniles. So depending upon the life stage, you have to decide, you have to supply the food material accordingly. So feeding of the larvae change gradually from one metamorphic stage to the advanced type of metamorphic stage. Here it has the filter feeding. Initially it changes here as the development occurs, development proceeds, there are changes in the feeding also. The filter feeding follows, mixed feeding, and finally it reaches to the carnivorous one. Therefore, the necessary to supply the food as it is ingested during the particular life stage. See here, life stage is not constant. When in the earlier stage, these are filter feeding on a microscopic type of animal, unicellular animal, and later on when it reaches, finally it is converts into the you may call as the carnivorous in habit. So filter feeding mechanism, filter feeding habit will turns into the omnivorous type of the feeding, and then omnivorous type will convert finally into the carnivorous type of the feeding. That means in the earlier stage it is a filter feeding depending upon various type of microscopic food material. Later on the feeding habit change, it forms as the omnivorous, a mixed type of the feeding is there, and as the individuals will grow, it just changes the feeding habit and it have the carnivorous in habit. So feeding is going to be changed. Here in the earlier stage we can just supply the zooplanktons as well as the phytoplankton. I told that it is a filter feeder. Filter feeding habit is there. So it depends upon the earlier stage, depends upon those zooplankton as well as the phytoplanktons. So this zooplankton is adapted for filter feeding and feed upon the microscopic planktonic food material, food particles, unicellular algae, and like that. Later on, when we say about the zoea stage is adapted for filter feeding as well as a carnivorous feeding type of habit is there, and it also prefer the phytoplanktons as well as the zooplanktons. So that means initially that is having the planktonic feeding. Later on the zoea stage form. That zoea stage may be having a carnivorous as well as the planktonic feeding habit. Later on these mysis and post larva are strictly carnivorous. See here how habit is changing. Initially filter feeding is there, zooplanktons and phytoplanktons. Later on feeding change, it starts somewhat the zooplanktons, the phytoplanktons as well as some carnivorous type of material, and finally when the zoea stage is adapted for filter feeding, which is having the carnivorous, and the mysis and post larva is now strictly the carnivorous and prefer the rotifer, the cladocerans as well as the artemia. So artemia is one of the best food for these we may call as prawns. So you have to culture the artemia. As we know that for better development, a natural food material and artificial food material must be there. So you have to side by side, you have to culture the Artemia. So Artemia is one type of the life stage, and you have to culture into the separate pond, and you have to feed that Artemia to the prawns, as well as the rotifer, as well as the cladocerans. So the meiosis and post larva will prefer the food material like the rotifer, cladocerans, as well as the Artemia. So these are the, what are these? These are the, see here, zooplankton, phytoplankton, Artemia, algae, planktonic material, as well as the diatom. These are the natural food material. Unicellular algae, these are the natural food material. Along with the natural food material, it also requires a supplementary or additional or artificial type of food material for better development and the growth. And this artificial food material is simply the rice bran, broken rice, and waste pieces of the fishes, the husk, and it has to be supplied at the rate of 25 grams per prawn. When the prawns are in a large adult stage, at that time it will require near about 25 grams per day per body of the prawns. So later the adult stage will require the artificial food for better and rapid development and growth. For high yield production, for high weight, you should have to feed the artificial food. This rice bran is also the one of the good material, as well as the waste fishes, the debris, the waste material from the poultries, as well as the fishes, as well as the rice bran, the rice broken rice. These are the few important food supply regarding the prawns. Dear friends, remaining we shall see into the next video. Thank you very much.